And we're sailing away. Hello and thank you for clicking on this video. I'll be sharing my experience on the Hiby Yacht 10. Why 10? I do not know, but this is a $129 single DD IEM from Hiby. But before we dive deeper into this, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Hiby for sending this unit in exchange for my honest feedback. However, as always, all thoughts and opinions are my own and are not influenced by any parties. Hiby also sent through a few other goodies to try out, starting with the HC1 plug, which is a USB-C termination since, spoiler, the stock cable that it comes with the Yacht 10 is interchangeable, so it's a really nice addition to the typical termination that normally comes with IEMs, but of course it's extra. However, Hiby also sent in their ear tips, which is the Hiby WG1, and these ear tips are really nice. I like ear tips with a bit of grip, so it has a similar feel to the Setna ear tips, where it's like sticky, grippy, and if you had Setnas before, I think you know what I'm referring to. But they fit me well, and like the Duno ear tips, these are becoming one of my favorite ear tips to use as well. Anyway, let's talk unboxing, as you get a nice long box, which is a nice little change from square boxes you get from IEM packages. Opening the box, you get a graph, which of course looks different when you stretch it like that. I think there are graphs available on Squig Link, and there are more peaks in the frequency than what this graph is showing, but we'll get to that later. Inside, you'll be greeted by the IEMs. There's also a case with a set of silicone ear tips and foam ear tips. But of course, the WG01 is a step above these ear tips, but still nice to have. The square case has this magnetic clasp over, which is pretty strong, and it has sufficient space to keep your IEMs. And even though the clasp is not as secure as a zipper, but it makes it very easy to keep or access your IEMs. And it has a nice feel and sturdiness to it as well, so I'm digging this case design. Very nicely done here. The stock cable that comes with looks really nice, with the dark copper color and double weave on the main cable, though when it comes to the ear hook, it's a single wire, so it loses that stability there. But there's a long plastic sleeve around the ear hooks to give it that stability to hook on your ears. But overall, a nice design theme that carries across throughout this whole package. As mentioned earlier, the termination is interchangeable, and it comes with a 3.5 and 4.4mm converters with this package. The IEM design looks really cool, bringing in the mecha theme with hard lines and edges with an orange faceplate against a gunmetal grey colored body. It's got a metal shell, and despite the hard line edges, it's chamfered off so it doesn't bring any discomfort to your wearing experience. There's not much more to say, as it's a very simple look, but it has its own design identity that stands out from the crowd. For fit and comfort, it's a single DD IEM, and even though the IEM has some hard lines, as mentioned earlier, because of its form factor and chamfered edges, it's not giving me any pressure inside my ears. Cable hooks give it a bit of stability as well. As much as I appreciate that this cable comes with interchangeable terminations, there's really no need for the 4.4mm because this IEM doesn't need a lot of power. I personally used the Hiby WG01 ear tips for this testing and also paired it with a cleaner sounding source, and this is why. For the sound of the Yacht 10, first thing that shines through is the focus on the background music. I guess keeping in tune with its motto of journey and discovery, the bass is coming through with some warmth and strength, but it's not the hardest hitting bass presentation, nor does it have the deepest extension, but somehow it is the highlight of the overall presentation. But there's some distance between the sound that creates the sound bubble illusion, but of course, not the final word in technicalities, and those prefer a cleaner, leaning sounding mid-range presentation might look elsewhere. It has a very lush sounding vocal, but the vocals is definitely not the feature of the music. However, despite the graph showing the peaks in some areas, there isn't any sharpness that I'm getting, and the treble extension is relatively subdued. So there's a bit of distance between you and the sounds of trumpets, and is missing that sharpness in its attack, but it makes for a relatively smooth sounding IEM. There's some details coming through and some separation happening in the soundstage, which is nice, especially for this driver configuration. However, it's not the most resolved IEM as mentioned earlier, so if the goal is to get a warm, lush sounding IEM that takes you on a smooth ride while you're accompanied by what's happening in the background, then all aboard the Yacht 10. So compare it against the nice HCK NX8. The NX8 costs $20 more, but the resolution on the NX8 is just a clear cut above when compared to the Yacht 10. Sure, the build quality of the Yacht 10 is better with the metal body, but the accessories is really nice from both packages. However, it's a shame the WG01 is a separate purchase, while the NX8 comes with a nice few stock ear tips as part of the package. The base presentation is a lot fuller and richer from the Yacht 10, and the Yacht 10 has a more emphasis on the background music, while the NX8 is a switch where you're getting your vocals at the center, but you still can hear all the accompaniment in the background, and is a much leaner and clearer sounding presentation compared to the Yacht 10. I like my warm and rich sounding presentation presentations from time to time, but between the two I tend to lean towards the NX8, and it was one of my top picks of 2024 and still remains so. So in summary, I think Hiby played it a little bit safe with the tuning of this IEM, maybe a little bit too safe, but the looks, design, accessories of this package is stellar, and I look forward to one day listening to a Hiby IEM that stays within the pocket. But as I mentioned earlier, if you're all about rich and lush sounding presentations, the Yacht 10 does no wrong there. However, this is just one man's experience, and I'm curious to know your thoughts. Have you tried the Hiby Yacht 10, and what are your experiences like? Comment below and let me know. And with that all said, thank you to Hiby again for this opportunity, and to all of you for watching. Until the next video, take care and happy listening.